Hey guys, so week one just completed in the Lori Vallow Daybell case, and I would love to hear what you guys think. There was some high points and some drawn out points, no pun intended. I did cover Lori's trial's opening statement live, and, for the rest of the week, I kind of just tuned in and wanted to share my thoughts with you from this week overall. So basically, going into the trial, some of the highlights that I wanted to talk or touch on are the various people that were cross-examined. And when this trial started to move forward, one of the first witnesses was this firefighter who arrived on scene and was one of the people to be in the room while CPR was happening on Lori's slain husband, Charles Vallow. Lori I don't think she's doing herself any favors, and I know we all could have saw that coming. She honestly, the approach she's taking, I feel like her mask is slipping. That her pre-trial interview that she did, she seemed fairly positive and a positive attitude, but you can tell as the days are moving forward, her mask is slipping. Her true feelings are coming out as she's cross-examining these people. And she's very much looking at every single person on the stand as her enemy. And, they're not her enemy. They are there to tell the truth, which obviously the truth is something she's having a hard time facing. So this firefighter here, Lori was grilling him on the chest compressions because her husband was lying with a shot to his heart. And she was making it seem as if the lack of CPR or the method in which the CPR was happening, by the time the firefighters were called, it was 45 minutes after Charles had been shot. So by the time they arrived on scene, this firefighter said there was no pulse on Charles, unfortunately. And, they wanted to provide life-saving measures, but at this point they just couldn't. And Lori was really trying to drive home a point that how could they do CPR because of his bullet wound, and what was the method that would happen when someone has a gaping wound in the middle of their chest where they would be pressing on the chest to try and revive them. To me, it was a moot point. Again, she's grilling these witnesses as if they are her enemy, when in fact, the fact is no one was called. The firefighters weren't even able to do anything at the point that they arrived on scene, because it basically it was too late, but they still did attempt. So, that was as I believe this is day one of the trial, actually starting after the opening statement. So technically day two. So the next day was actually she had to speak to her family member, her brother, Adam Cox, who gave his testimony about what happened that day. As he said, a lot of very odd things happened. He flew in to visit his brother Alex, who, as you know, was the actual shooter of Charles, was supposed to pick him up from the airport that day, and somehow he ghosted him. And my belief is Lori intercepted their meeting. She somehow, I wonder if she's older or younger than Alex. Like he was a brother that sometimes you have younger siblings that they'll do anything for you. a lot of siblings, they look up to their older brother or sister, and just like a parent, they want to appease them. So, unfortunately, Alex isn't here to speak about what happened that day, but it seems like Lori was able to manipulate him a little bit because she got Alex, again, who has since passed away and is her brother and the brother to Adam, who is right here. She got him to not pick up Adam that day from the airport, and Lori and Alex ended up at her house. Alex ends up actually shooting Charles, and Adam is just in the dark about all of this and doesn't even find out for days that this has happened. I mean, that's a huge deal. Like, your husband passes away and you don't tell any of your family members. So you could tell, I mean, you could just look at Adam's face right there. That had to have been so hard, but everybody in her family has just seems to be so upstanding. So it's really crazy that Lori has just ventured off such a rogue path at this point in her life, and I believe it's due to Chad. It's this cult leader. He has brainwashed her while this was going on. So Adam, you could tell, he wasn't happy to be on the stand, and but he answered her questions pretty straightforward, and I thought he gave great testimony. um, so let me see if it says anything. He says that his sister had made strange religious comments, and I'm sorry, Adam is also a part of the Latter Day Saints, so they're a part of the same church. And even these other members of the church feel Lori was speaking nonsense. And that this is her brother, and he says that he just kind of dismissed everything and, just kind of let it go, like, okay, sometimes people say weird stuff, but I'm sure he couldn't foresee that Lori would take this as far as she did. So you could tell by his face, he's mad. He's mad at her, and very rightfully so. You know, all of this destruction that Lori has caused has just been for nothing. You know, if she still believes that the alien spaceship is going to come down and she's going to live eternally and she's immortal, then why doesn't she transport her ass out of jail? She has to have a reality check by now, exactly where she's at, you know. I mean, and you can tell, like I said, in her interview, she had a pretty positive demeanor, but based on all of the body language videos I have ever watched, a lot can be shown as far as your emotional like state in your eyebrows. And she was speaking, but her eyebrows were like scrunched up the entire time, which means she's annoyed. So she can't wipe this annoyed resting bitch face off of her face, because that's really how she feels about things. And you could tell she's mad. She's mad. I don't know why she's mad. She needs to be mad at herself. So okay, so that was her brother, who, again, I applaud him for doing the right thing. And obviously these people that are subpoenaed really don't have a choice, but I thought he did very well on the stand. One of the funny parts that happened was she tried to ask him when was the last time he's seen her. And he was like, I don't remember. And she was like, oh, you don't remember the last time I made these green enchiladas, my famous green enchiladas? And he was like, I don't know what you cooked that day. So he didn't give a crap about some stupid enchiladas. And that's the other thing. She's shooting herself in the foot by bringing up these details that is not going to make you look any better. If who cares what you made that day? Like, your husband is gone, you know. And again, so the jury is not aware that she has already been convicted of unaliving her two children. But I want to look further, and please let me know if you watched this trial this week, because I'm trying to remember or pinpoint. I believe when Charles' sister, who was the next person that she cross-examined, Kay Hancock, where is it? I believe she mentioned something about the children not being here. So I feel like that's going to come out in the trial. It's not supposed to, but I feel like it is. And if you caught that, please put in the comments if maybe I missed it, because I just kind of tuned in and out. They were such long days. They're like full 8-hour days. When the trial resumes Monday, April 14th, it is going to start half an hour early at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or Arizona time. I think that's Mountain Time or something. But so next, she has to face Charles' sister. And, she speaks, it's like everyone kind of just gave Lori leeway to believe whatever she believed. But they did think it was strange. And obviously, Charles' sister is not happy with her, So I have to commend everyone that has been affected by this situation and for being so brave to get on the stand and speak their truth. So, she remembers the time that she got the call that her brother was deceased. And I've gotten a call like that before. I have lost my niece and my nephew and other family members, where you get this call and it's so shocking and alarming, and you kind of black out. So, let's see what else she said. So his sister Kay had traveled to Arizona to check on her biological grandson, um, but Lori really just kind of got in between everybody's plans to help out the kids. So I just want to read here. Adam Cox testified Thursday that questioning his sister's religious beliefs and later sharing his beliefs that she was involved in Vallow's death led him to be separated from her and the other family members. So she kept going back to her brother. She kept asking him, when was the last time that we spoke? And he's like, when I found out you may be involved with your husband's death. Yeah, that's a pretty valid reason. So the other person that has gotten a lot of, this is all in the news, but she interviews the lady that Charles went on a date with the very night before he was murdered. Let me see if I can pull her up. Her name is Kay Hancock, or let me see, what was her name? Gosh, I don't remember her name. Charles Vallow. Date. Let's see if I can find date before death. Okay, let's try that. I thought I had this pulled up already, but I don't know what happened to it. Okay. So Hancock testified she met Charles Vallow in early 2019. She said that Charles had told her he was going through a divorce. Lori grilled her on that and, tried to act like this, innocent woman was intentionally dating a married man, and Lori said that they hadn't filed yet, and like they weren't planning on divorcing. BS on that. The BS meter on that is high, okay? She was already having an affair on him. She was already trying to wipe him out off of the face of this earth. And she dares tell this lady that she was impeding on her marriage. Like, Lori, get a clue. So this lady, she also held up pretty well on the stand. She didn't seem to be bothered too much by Lori. It's like, Lori, you're in jail and we are not, okay? So everything you say is just, you just seem bitter. She's so bitter at this point. So she said they did speak on the date a little bit about Lori, and Charles just seemed like a good husband, and he wanted to be a father to their children still. So yeah, Lori kind of went in on her and she said, "Oh, do you just you talked about me the entire time on your date?" And, you know, what is her first name? I don't see her first name here. Oh, Nancy Joe. Nancy Joe was like, yeah, don't flatter yourself. All right. That's not how it happened. Like, so they did have to shut down Lori's questioning. She kept like making remarks after this lady who really seemed to, and that's such a bad picture of her. Why would they use that picture of her? Her eyes are closed. It's not a video. So they did have to reprimand Lori a little bit because she kept making remarks after someone would answer. And so that's what I mean. Her mask is slipping. She's starting to be increasingly bitter and annoyed. So that's not going to translate very well with the jury. It just reeks of guilt. So let's see, what else? Is that everybody? Yeah, well, the only other thing I wanted to mention is Colby J. Ryan. This is Lori Vallow's surviving son. I believe she has 3 other older sons that, including Colby, that are still alive. And Colby has his channel. Go subscribe. He seems like the coolest person. And he had said earlier he would not be attending. Well, he actually did go to the trial, and he said you should watch the video, because he said he's glad he went, and it really kind of helped give him closure. And again, he said that he had so many mixed emotions, like so many emotions, like anger, betrayal. Plus, that's your own mother, but he's trying to just come to terms with what has happened. And he has his own channel. Go check it out on YouTube. I really like his takes on how he's been kind of processing everything that's happening. And obviously his angle or his perspective is a really good one, because this is her direct son who she took his nephew and his niece from him, and obviously he's very, very hurt about that. The entire family is hurt about that. So prayers goes out to the Vallow family, and anyone else that has been hurt by this tragedy. Who's going to be watching week 2? I will do my best to give another recap after the next week. And please share this video. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a comment. And I will see you guys next week. And until then, stay safe.